Welcome back to another episode of FFTM, that is Faithfully Free, Truthfully Me. I am your host, Hannah Hazer, and today we are with Brooke Marsalla, a real estate agent based in Kansas City, and we're just gonna talk all about how to reinvent yourself, especially with some people are like unhappy in their jobs and they just don't know like where to go next. So, Brooke, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? Thanks for having me
Good.
on.
Of course. Thank you for reaching out and joining me on the podcast. I'm
Yeah.
glad it worked out. The first question I have for you is what does FFTM, faithfully free, truthfully me, mean to you?
Yeah. So this is not like super tricky, but so I always have faith. Like I do always have faith in God.
Hmm.
I'm one of those people, I feel like my kids kind of laugh at me, but I don't know how many times a day I pray. I'm not even
Me
joking.
too.
I pray in the morning, I pray throughout the day, I pray at night. I'll be in my car driving. And I don't know if I'm also just having a conversation, honestly, with God. Just
Hmm.
like, please listen to me. I need some help. I need some guidance. So that I do religiously every single day. And I try my best to have my faith in God, but honestly, I do doubt myself. I try so hard not to, but I think it sometimes gets the best of all of us. But I try and stay true to myself and what I believe. And I try and always, I give everybody the same version of me, no matter who you are. So.
Hmm. Are you from Kansas City or did you move there?
I moved here, but I've been here for honestly quite some time. I'm
Nice.
from a town in Kansas, and then I moved to Kansas City after graduating high school and was here for a couple years. And then I was like, oh, I'm going to move to Arizona. So then I moved to Arizona for
That's
a while
awesome.
and came back to Kansas City. I've really never been afraid of just going. Like I
Hmm.
came to Kansas City, I knew nobody. I went to Arizona, I knew nobody. So
That's awesome. What
never
were
really been
like,
afraid just to
yeah.
go.
What were some challenges that you faced when you like didn't know anybody in a new city and how did you like overcome those challenges?
Honestly, like it was hard because I didn't know the area. So I was like, okay, what
Hmm.
area do you live in? Hopefully I got myself, at at the time I had an apartment. I was like, hopefully it's in a good area.
Yeah.
Um, but then I think the biggest thing too is just learning like a new city and meeting friends. But I found a job pretty quickly in both times when I moved to Kansas City and when I moved to Arizona. I
Hmm.
found a job pretty quickly, and so I just started meeting people through work. I'm honestly like one of those people, I'll meet someone anywhere I go, maybe
Yeah.
even in the grocery store. I just will strike up a conversation with anybody. So just putting yourself out
Yeah.
there,
Yeah.
to meet people and try new things.
What advice would you give someone who's like shy and like struggling to meet people?
I will tell you, I was painfully shy as a child.
Me too.
And truthfully, I will tell you, I'm actually still pretty shy now. I really am. Like,
Hmm.
I have to really feel comfortable and kind of have a connection to feel like I can open up to someone, whether it be really anybody, friend or anything. Now, I'm in sales, obviously, but so I feel like I have a pretty good read on people and I try and kind of adjust who I am for that person because I really do feel like I can kind of tell someone's personality almost within seconds.
Hmm.
But growing up, I was so darn shy. I did not want any attention on me. I really still don't, to be honest with you. I'd rather let someone else have the attention, or I kind of like to fly under the radar. I'm pretty private, not because I don't ever want to share anything, but I'm just kind of keep to myself. And I've always been
Hmm.
that way. But I think the biggest thing when you're shy is just really asking yourself like where that's coming from. Yeah, like sometimes I was shy just because I didn't have like the confidence. Still even to this day, I don't, I sometimes, depending on what it is, I kind of, question myself or don't quite have the confidence. And I feel like also, like as a woman, I'm sure guys do this, but I don't know. I don't know much about guys, but as a woman, I feel like you're always kind of, you know, looking to other women, other girls and
Comparing yourself and
comparing. Not that you want to compare, but it
no,
happens whether you want it to or not. And so I
especially
think
now with social
also,
media.
yes, social media is awful in some
Hmm.
ways. Like it's great
Agreed.
in some ways, but in other ways it's like,
Yes.
oh,
Like from
yeah.
a business perspective, it's so good. But like
Oh,
when you're
yes.
just like scrolling on TikTok or Instagram or even LinkedIn, like just looking at everybody's like career paths and you're like,
Yeah.
dang, am I behind in life? Yeah.
No, you're never behind. Oh my gosh, it's never
Mm-hmm.
too late, honestly. Truthfully, I kept, I went to school and I went to school for art, but I did nothing with art after I went to school. And I went into sales and became a mom and all the things and
Mm-hmm.
all these phases of my life. It's like you're never behind. You have, that's the one thing we have. We always have like the privilege
Yeah.
to start over to try something new. So, yeah.
Awesome. When you meet somebody for the first time, how do you introduce yourself and describe what you do to them?
Um, I had someone ask me this the other day. I really don't know how to like describe myself. It's so, because for so long, I've always just been like, oh, I'm like a mom to three daughters. And they're like, okay, but what else? And but when I meet people, I usually am just like, I'll introduce myself. I'll let them know that I am a mom, that I have three daughters. I'm in real estate, and that's really honestly the gist of it, which is kind of boring. Um, like I feel like I need to jazz up how I introduce myself a little better. Not to downplay anything that I do, but I never really I never really recognized myself as anything other than a mom and in real estate. So,
Yeah. How did you kind of fall into real estate? When did that journey begin?
so honestly, it's an interesting story. I was in sales for 15 years with a men's skincare line that was based out of Texas. Tons of people know him. It was Jack Black. It's a great men's skincare brand. I loved my job. I was a trainer. I did sales. I did high-end accounts. And really, honestly, I love my job. I grew my business. I gained so many, different things from that position. Then, in the meantime, as I was doing that, I was also literally, I don't even know how I did it when I look back, but like my kids were involved in school and sports and they traveled for soccer. And I literally did everything. I managed, I went to practice, I went to games. Like I didn't miss anything. I always wanted to make sure I was always present for everything for my kids. So in between working for Jack Black, I was always, you know, juggling everything my kids had going on. But COVID hit and that transition of like people shopping in store versus online was really changing over those few years leading up to COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just making my job a little more challenging because I wasn't getting to see people face to face as much. And so it was slowly starting to be like, okay, should I look for something else? What should I do? And then basically, COVID, I was going through a divorce. My job was like, don't know what's going on. And then they reached out and they're like, hey, Brooke, we just don't need you anymore. It's just, and I was like, oh my gosh,
That's what happened to
because
me from a previous job of mine, and I'm like, dang, like your whole world just like crashes down.
yeah, it literally was like a gut punch because I was like, okay, so I'm going through a divorce, which that was
Mm-hmm.
terrible within itself in so many ways. Then I lost my job. I had my three daughters, and I was like, you couldn't even actually really work at the time or
Yeah.
find a job at the time. So I was like, what the heck do I do? Um, And my boyfriend at the time was like, what if you, and my dad even mentioned it too. They're like, what about real estate? And I was like, I mean, that was kind of scary because there's no guaranteed, pay with real estate. Real estate is what you put into it.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, well, that's great, but am I going to make any money? Because like I need to make money. I have responsibilities. So, as much as I love the idea, I was also really scared and uncertain. And I was like, you know what, I'm just going to go for it. So I took my tests for Kansas and Missouri. I did all the courses and everything to get my license, and I didn't procrastinate at all. Like I was like, I got to get this done. So I did them simultaneously, back to back. I was like, let's just do this. Um, got my license in Kansas and Missouri. And then I was like, okay, now what? What do I do? So, but it's been great. Like going into real estate for me, honestly, has been a blessing in a lot of ways. And as much as I didn't want to change all those things at one time, it happened and it all worked out. Honestly, it couldn't have been any better. So,
Yeah, I feel like everything bad just happens all at once, and that's when you hit your like lowest point, and it's like, God, I
yeah.
need your help.
Yes.
Was there
Yeah.
ever a moment during the pandemic when you thought, I cannot keep doing this?
Oh gosh, I cried so many days and so many nights, and I would try so hard not to let like my girls ever see me upset.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think it's good for them to know like we were going through a hard time, and
Yeah.
then they also were having a hard time too because they weren't in school, and I'm homeschooling. I'm homeschooling them, which was like a chore within itself because my youngest at the time, getting her to get on a Zoom was like impossible.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be like, okay, Sienna, go go upstairs and get on your Zoom. Next thing you know, I'm hearing the shower. And I'm like, why is the shower on? And she's in the shower and she's not on her Zoom for class. And I'm like, no, 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 get out of the
She's
shower.
like, I don't want to go to school.
So it was hard enough to be like, I need my kids to focus
Mm-hmm.
and then they were having a hard time because they were not seeing their friends. They were homeschooling. If they didn't understand something, I didn't understand something. I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know. And then in the meantime, I'm also studying, to be in real estate and just all of the things. And I had a lot of days that were very difficult.
Yeah. And something
Yeah.
I live by is to just cry for 3 days, give yourself 3 days to be upset and cry about it, and then move on and just try to find something that's better for you.
Yeah. Yeah. I really did have many days where I was like, I don't know if this is going to work out. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it. But then also
Mm-hmm.
at the same time, I didn't, I didn't really have an option to fail. And if I did fail, I was going to have to quickly find something else. So
Yeah. But it
yeah,
worked out, so it's
it
great.
did. Yeah.
What was the hardest part about starting over, financially, physically, and emotionally?
Oh, well, financially, honestly, I was depleted from my divorce.
Mm-hmm.
Before I got a divorce, I had, no issues and I had plenty of money in my account and it would have been fine. But my divorce went to trial, which was pretty silly within itself. And
Oh,
so,
wow.
unfortunately, it was far more expensive than it ever should have been. So I really started over because there was a couple of weeks, couple of months, honestly, where we had like $50. And I was like, I can't really hardly do anything with $50. So for me, that was like super defeating because it was like, all right, what are we going to eat for dinner? What's like the most inexpensive meal I can think of?
Mm-hmm. It's so crazy
Um,
how, like, I don't know, like maybe 10 years ago, like $50 was a lot to us, and now it's like,
yeah,
it's really nothing.
it
Like
isn't
a,
like it barely
yeah.
gets you anything.
No, like you can't even really go out to a nice restaurant and get a drink and
You,
a meal, like an
you really,
entree. And it's like,
you
what?
really can't.
Things
Yeah.
have
So
changed.
yes, yeah. So that was tricky. Just day to day life was tricky for me. And then
Mm-hmm.
honestly, just I had to keep my kids accountable, keep myself accountable. I mean, we all came through it. It all worked out. And went the way it was supposed to go. As much as it was hard, it all worked out. But just having, to start over and
Yeah.
have no money, and we also had to move. So we had
Man.
we had a really pretty home that we had just built.
Was
We'd
this in
only lived in
Arizona?
no, this was in Kansas City.
It was in Kansas,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Yeah, so we had a really pretty home. We had just built, hadn't lived there very long, and we had to sell that and downsize. And my kids were just like, "Oh my goodness, like all these changes, you know." So I always had to keep in mind it wasn't just me changing; they had a lot of changes too. So
Mm-hmm.
I kind of always had to keep it together and try and be that like it's gonna be great, it's gonna be good, like you guys are gonna love it. So
Yeah. Did anyone ever like doubt your decision along the way while you were in that kind of transformation between jobs? And how did you kind of handle those doubts? Or if anyone ever told you that you're not good enough, how did you get through that?
oh well, my entire marriage was I was not good enough. um it was
He sucks.
yeah, so I heard that for many years, so that was kind of ingrained in my head.
How long were you
um
married for?
I was married for 14 years.
Dang.
Yeah. um And I'm sure a lot of people who have been through situations and messy divorces and things like that, looking back, they're like, we probably should have never gotten married, but I really never should have gotten married. It was a very poor decision on my behalf. But yeah, married for 14 years. And so, truthfully, after my divorce, my confidence was just gone, like honestly gone, on so many levels. And I still work on it to this day, to be honest with you. But between the doubts that I always had in my marriage, I carried that over after. And then, as far as my family, though, no one there doubted me. Like, my dad is probably one of my biggest cheerleaders. He literally was like, I just want you to be happy. I want you to thrive. And that's what I always say about, what I want for my girls too.
Yeah.
And so my dad, he's like, you're going to be in real estate? Okay. And I know in the
That's
back of his
awesome.
head, like, I know in the back of his head, he was probably like, is she going to make any money? Because, like, how is she? But he never said that. He was just like, and he
He
would check
believed in
in.
you.
Yep. He'd check in and he would be like, how's it going? Have you taken your test yet? And then, also my sister's great. My mom, she would also, so everyone kind of along the way would check in and just be like, how's it going? My girls,
Awesome.
even, when I would study for different tests and stuff at home, they'd be like, Mom's studying, she needs to get this done. And they just kind of leave me alone. And I had a boyfriend too, and he was always like, come on, come on.
That's
Like, if I would get sidetracked and like do something else, he was like, no, you got to get this test done. So I
awesome.
I had good support in that way,
Mm-hmm.
for sure. Like, none of my family has ever doubted me, and I think the thing I love to this day is the fact that now my girls are like, dang, like my mom, like she's got it, like she's doing good, like
They look
she's
up to.
yeah, and that's what I've always wanted.
That's awesome. For anyone who doesn't know like the process of real estate, can you explain like what the test is like? What like all that has to do with it, I guess. Like where do you
Sure.
like start with the test and then like I guess what's the process like of real estate for anyone who doesn't know?
Yeah, I mean, so there's a variety of ways, probably depending on what state you live in, on how you
Mm-hmm.
can take your test. And I'm in Kansas and Missouri. So what I did was I studied online, because it was just easier for me at the time just to do stuff on my own time. So basically, you would go online, study, kind of read through all these chapters, get all this information. You take quizzes throughout those chapters, and then you would take a test at the very end. And once you pass that test, then you would be able to actually book something that's in person, and you take your final test in person. And I'm not gonna lie, the first few times I took my Missouri test, I did not pass. And I was like, oh my gosh. I just felt like so distracted. But I got it and it was fine. And then my Kansas, I got it the first time. But so yeah, so I did most of my studying at home. And then I went in person to take my final test. But then as far as real estate, like my day to day, I'm in new construction. So I actually sit in a model, which is probably not the norm for most real estate agents. So I sit in a model 5 days a week, and the builder, basically, they're my client, and the neighborhood I'm in right now, I had 60 lots.
Wow.
I started in here, oh, it's been a little over a year ago, and I'm down to 21 lots. So I'm
Nice.
trying to get those sold through. I'm super competitive, honestly, just with myself. So
Yeah.
I'm in a competition right now with myself to get rid of those 21 lots. But yeah, I'm in a maintenance provided area. So I have a combination of slab homes and then homes that have basements. But my day really just consists of like checking on construction, talking with my project manager, putting new listings in, checking on the homes, walking them, making sure everything's good. I also pick all of the interiors and exteriors, which I actually love because I
Mm-hmm.
love design. So that part I love about my job.
Yeah.
I can pick the exterior color, I can do all the inside. So I love that part of it too. But then I also meet with buyers and different trades and people that come in throughout the day and chat with them and have appointments with them and kind of take them through the whole build process. My day's not super glamorous by any
Yeah.
means.
Do you get
Yeah.
to choose your own hours, or is it kind of like a standard, like 8 to 5? I don't know, whenever you get done, I
Um,
guess.
I'm usually here like 11 to 5,
That's not bad.
and then off 2 days a week, typically. So,
Nice.
yeah.
If you weren't doing real estate, what else do you think you would be doing?
Oh my gosh. There's a couple of things
Yeah.
actually, and they have nothing to do with real estate. So people are like, "What? That's so random." But I think one thing I would love to do, honestly, is I've ever since I went through an abusive relationship, and I know how it made me feel, and I know how it made my kids feel. I've always just been like, there's something with Emmy that just wants to, like, I don't even know how to do it, to be honest with you, but I've
Mm-hmm.
always wanted to speak to or support women and children who have been in similar situations. Um, because I think it's so important to understand all of that. There's so much that goes into that situation for women and kids. And I know men also experience this as well, but I'm not a man, so I can't really speak to that. But I know for myself, in so many ways, I went through a lot. It's still something I work on to this day. And so I would love to be like a voice of motivation and like a voice of positivity and encouragement to women and children. And I know that's so opposite of what I do right now, and I don't even know what that would look like, but that's something I've always wanted to do. And then another thing, which is so random, is I've always wanted to be a nurse. Like I've always wanted to be a nurse.
Help people.
Yeah. Future
Miss,
Brooke, I
yeah.
don't know. Maybe I'll be talking on stages. I don't know. I gotta
Yeah.
get my confidence up to do that. That would be
Yeah.
a real feat. That would be a real feat for me to
Yeah.
overcome.
Yeah, that's my goal one day, to talk on stages and help people because I love helping
Yeah.
people.
Honestly, like it's the one thing in life that I truly, truly love. Like I think that's also why I like my job too, because
Mm-hmm.
I get to help people, go through the buying process, the build process, and it's an it's honestly an emotional roller coaster for most people. And so I enjoy kind of always trying to be that like that sound person in that situation for them that's helping them. So
What's something about being a single mom entrepreneur that a lot of people don't talk about much?
they don't talk about. Well, I will say sometimes I feel like I'm failing because my job really, as much as I sit on a model, I also work a lot from home in the morning and at night. And I feel like there's not any like real boundaries that I've set to be like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, this time of night, I'm not going to answer my email or my phone or anything. And I'm just going to focus on like friends, family, whatever. Um, I struggle with that. So I think honestly, people will look at me and think I must have all this flexibility in my schedule. And, I really don't. And I feel like I tend to overwork myself,
Mm-hmm.
um, and don't really stop and enjoy the moment with my kids. So I've really been trying. I told myself that 2026, I was going to try and change some things and like be more present. And if I catch myself, like wanting to get on my phone or go in the other room and email someone or do something, I'll be like, okay, no, I can just do it later or I'll do it tomorrow. So I think the biggest
Awesome.
thing struggling to keep, you know, present in everybody's life, showing up for yourself too.
Yes, that's super important. Always show up for yourself no matter what. What
Yeah.
advice would you give to someone who wants to make a career change because they're tired of the job they're doing but is too scared financially with the job market that's going on right now? And they're just afraid that they won't find anything else. What would you tell
Yeah.
them?
I do feel like when you're already working a job or already doing something, if you could just put yourself out there a bit, I feel like it's
Mm-hmm.
easier to find
Yeah.
another job. Now, if you just, I would never encourage anyone just to quit their job just because I couldn't even personally do that. I
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't encourage someone to quit their job and just start completely over because I feel like that would come with so many more emotions. Like, oh no, I just quit my job. I'm making no money and now I don't even have anything to go to. I feel like if you can set yourself up for success and try and like keep your job and work through, you know, because everyone gets burnt out.
Yeah.
I even get burnt out. Like some days I love my job and then other days I'm like, oh my goodness, I just want to go home. Like I don't want to be here. I don't feel like even answering my phone. I still do, but I just have days where I'm just like, ugh, like some days feel a little heavier than others.
Yeah.
Um, so I would just say like, stick with your job, put yourself out there, maybe go meet people, maybe go network, maybe put yourself out there by reaching out to people, letting them know like that you're wanting to switch and do something. Because I feel like the more that you put out there that you're wanting something different, you're open to something new, those people kind of hear you and they start like, oh, I just talked to Brooke and she was wanting to do this or whatever. And I feel
Mm-hmm.
like then your name comes up in conversation.
Yeah, definitely surround yourself with community and reach out to people. What lessons do you hope that your daughters learn from your work ethic and being a single mom?
Lessons, gosh, I've always wanted to be a great role model for them. So I would just say that as a woman, you can be successful. You got to work hard, but that's okay. There's plenty of things that come along with that as far as lessons. But the biggest thing is just letting them know, like, that, have the courage, do it, put in the work. You're going to have good days, you're going to have bad days, but
Yeah,
it all pays off in the end.
agreed. What do you wish someone had told you in your first year of real estate?
I think my biggest misconception of real estate is just how much work you have to put in to actually be successful.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people think realtors, if they're misinterpreting something, I feel like a lot of people think realtors don't do a whole lot, but we actually do a pretty good amount of work
Yeah.
and things that are kind of more behind the scenes that not everybody would see. So I could see where they might think that. But if you're a good agent, you're really putting in the work and you're doing everything right by your client.
Is the housing market like better? Because I know it was kind of struggling for a while. Is it like better now or is it still kind of iffy?
Well, I will say, since the year started, it's been
Mm-hmm.
pretty good. Usually January is quiet.
Mm-hmm.
Not, and it's
No one
always
wants
that.
to move in the winter. It's cold.
Yeah, it's
Especially
always
in the
so.
Midwest.
Oh yeah,
I'm
yeah.
from
Like,
Nebraska, so I know all about that.
oh yeah. We had some pretty cold days last week. It was like, oh my
Like
goodness.
negative-degree weather.
Yes,
Tennessee got pretty cold, but it wasn't that cold.
I
Thank
know.
goodness.
You guys had some crazy weather.
Yeah, we did.
But honestly, it's a little bit busier this year versus like a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I was to compare this January to last January, I know we're in February now, is because I feel like January flew by, but
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it was a little bit busier this year.
Yeah,
Like some of that spring market is already picking up, and that's because rates really right now are pretty good.
that's
So
good.
I think that's bringing people out a little bit earlier.
What does success mean to you now compared to when you first started?
Success for me, honestly, like when I first started, it was like I felt like I kept telling myself, like, I have to be successful, like, I have to make this work
Mm-hmm.
because I felt like I had so much writing on it. But now my success, honestly, like, it's still very much important to me, but my success really, honestly, is not just for me. Like, it's for everybody. It's for my family. It's for, um, all my clients, everybody. I just feel like the more successful I am, the better person I am.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so it's really for everybody.
What are three words your daughters would use to describe you and why?
Oh gosh, how would they describe? I definitely think they would say I'm hardworking. Um, they have lots
They're
of
gonna
nicknames
watch
for me.
this and be like, "What do we?" I'm just kidding.
So, well, but I'm honestly wondering what would they say because they have tons of nicknames for me. It's kind of
Oh,
comical. Um, but they
how
would
old are they?
definitely. So they're older now. They're 17, 19, and 22.
Nice.
I also think they would say that I'm an emotional being because I am.
We all are, especially girls. We can be.
They're always like, "Oh, mom, you're so emotional." So they would definitely say hardworking, emotional being, but I'm also like super, like I'm their biggest fan. All of them. I'm their biggest cheerleader. So
Love that. Where can people connect with you and find you on like social media? Do you have a
sure.
website?
Yeah, I'm on all platforms, but not super active on everything. I'm on LinkedIn, just under my name, Brooke Marsalla.
Hmm.
I am also on Instagram, Brooke Marsalla. I'm on Facebook, same thing. Everyone just convinced me to get a TikTok, so you won't see any posts there, but I'm on TikTok.
We love
um,
TikTok. I'm always scrolling on it. It's pretty bad.
Uh, yeah, it's hard not to. My girls and I,
Yeah.
we send funny little TikToks to each other all day long, and it's usually something to do with animals. Everything we send
Mm-hmm.
each other is to do with
Especially those
animals.
dog TikToks.
Yeah.
Are they
And then
on
I do have a
TikTok?
website too. So it's just my name at Reese. It's Brooke.Marsala at reesenichols.com.
Yeah, so if you're in Kansas City, go check out Brooke.
Yes, I'd love to help you.
Lastly, what do you hope people take away from this episode?
Honestly, just whoever you are. You don't even have to be a single parent or a woman or a mom, anything. I just always want to be motivating people and be an inspiration and letting people know, no matter who you are, that life might throw something at you, but you can handle it.
It was so good to have you on the podcast, and
Yeah, thank
I
you.
really enjoyed our conversation. I always try to end the podcast with a prayer just to pray over anyone who is struggling with reinventing themselves and kind of doubting themselves and just not knowing where to go next. God, thank you so much for having Brooke on this episode, and I thank you so much for just everything that you're providing us. And I pray over her daughters, I pray over her, and for anyone who's watching, I pray that you're watching over them as if they're struggling right now. I pray that you just give them the courage to follow their dreams and do whatever they have on their heart. God, I pray that you Just give them the confidence to step out in faith and just try their hardest to do whatever is on their heart. God, we love you so much. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you so much for being on this podcast episode. It was so fun. Thank you
Yeah,
guys
thank
for
you.
watching, and I will see y'all in 2 weeks. Bye,
Thank
guys.
you. Bye.